Welcome to the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce Quick Takes Legislative Live Video Series. My name is Matt Murphy, the Government Regional Affairs Director for the Chamber. In this series, we're going to share quick visits with our local legislators. We want to know what's going on, what the hot topics are, and what in general is happening in Olympia. I want to thank the Tire Factory and MacKay Sposito for their support of this series as policy engagement partners. So today we are joined once again by Senator Dozier. He's back, and he's from my home district, the 16th Legislative District. Good morning and welcome, Senator Dozier.
Hey, good morning, Matt. Great to have this opportunity to visit with you.
Yeah, so over the course of the last few weeks, since we talked last time, I've chatted with Senator Torres on the operating budget and then Senator King on the transportation budget. Each one of them have given us a different look at the budget process. So, and I know that you're on Ways and Means, and so I wanted to kind of get your take on this too right now, because right now the budgets, they're all in conference, right? So everybody's behind closed doors, arm wrestling and swapping favors. What's that process look like right now?
Well, I tell you that the way it's going is we really won't know anything as legislators, and neither will the public until it pops out of conference. And it's unfortunate because there's going to be 3 senators in and 3 House members in. But of that, as you probably know, 4 of them are on the Democrat side. And a lot of that negotiation is going to be between them and trying to marry the Democrats' budget together to try to not have it be vetoed by the governor, who does not like a lot of what the Democrats have proposed. I can tell you that it's very disturbing, I think, for us as legislators, and it should be for you folks as constituents, to not have an open public process. And what we're going to get handed here the last day or two of session is going to be a state budget that we cannot amend. We cannot do anything to it but vote yes or no.
Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of my next question, is about the bipartisanness of this discussions right now. And it doesn't sound like there's much of a bipartisan discussion.
Absolutely no. It's been real interesting the last, probably since the budgets came out the last week or so, when we're doing on the floor voting on other bills. Most of the time there's a contingent of the Democrat senators over in the wings in offices, most likely on the budget committee, working on that throughout the time and then coming out to vote on the floor. So we know that they're scrambling to try to get something put together. And, we're down to 2.5 weeks.
Yeah. So some of the bills that are still out there are the revenue bills. They're waiting, to cross the finish line. They still need to get out of the Senate and the House, and then they need to cross back and forth. Is there anything much that the Republicans can do on these spending bills, or these revenue bills, I guess I should say, revenue side, to slow some things down?
I think one of the things we did yesterday, we held the Senate Republicans held a press conference yesterday to talk about the increase in property taxes. And I'll tell you, Matt, that is one that scares me the most for everybody, because it's an immediate impact. And if it gets passed at the Senate proposal over the past 10 years, that would have added 4.5% on your property tax bill as average. 2 years ago, it would have been over 10%. This hits the pocketbook hard of everybody. And it's one that worries me the most, because it's flying underneath the radar, whereas it looks like the wealth tax is getting quite a beating, whether or not it's constitutional or not. But the Democrats are going to have to find ways to find that funding. And it's going to come at the middle class, basically, to pay for that, which is totally opposite of what the Democrats say that they want to do, is protect the middle class.
Right. So the turnout that was opposed to the property tax, I guess there was some 40,000 people signed in.
43,000, yeah.
Does that have, is anybody talking about that other than you saying, wow, that was a heck of a turnout. Maybe we should listen?
I can tell you last year when a similar bill, Senate Bill 5770 came up that would be able to raise it up to 3%, we held a press conference and basically the prime sponsor pulled the bill. But if you think about last year, it was an election year. This year, we're in an off cycle and for any elections. So I think that gives them a more brazen outlook of what they could push on top of us. I mean, this is just me from the inside looking at what they can do.
Right.
And that's why I'm so concerned about some of their taxing policies, whether it's property tax or whether it's B&O tax increase. Everything is going to hurt the middle class, lower class people. The working class is what I want to say.
Right. Yeah, because that's the thing is that people ask me, what can we do? Or, and I tell them, you got to pay attention. You got to sign in. You got to let your legislators know. And I think obviously on this property tax situation, 43,000 people let their legislators know. And the question is, does it do any good? And that time, I guess time will tell on that.
Yeah, and it's hard to really say, like Matt, we know that they're in conference and we're not going to be hearing those stories of what they're going to do to try to balance this budget. Between both chambers, they're so over budgeted right now on the amount of revenue they hope to come in. It's just there's a lot of cutting. So I'm not sure how they're going to figure out how to do it.
Mm-hmm. So with the governor coming out on multiple occasions now and basically saying, obviously the wealth tax is pretty much off the table, I think, for various reasons, but are they taking him seriously? Are the Democrats taking the governor seriously? I mean, we hope he's serious.
I would tend to think to some degree they have to, because he has not wavered yet on that. And like I say, we're down to 2.5 weeks. He is held pretty strong, which has been something that I going into this session, I wouldn't have thought that. Cautiously optimistic on where we're going to go with it. I don't think that the governor will get to the level of what the Senate proposal was for a budget at all. But my hopes are that he will look closely again at some of those other taxes that are going to hit that I keep talking about, the majority of the people that can least afford to have tax increases.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Senator Dozier. This, you guys are getting it done. Like you said, you've got a couple weeks left. And have you ever been in a special session? Do you think it could come to that?
I never have. I mean, I remember years ago when they ended up having a special session that ran clear into July, but that's when it wasn't a single party control. That's when I think maybe the Senate controlled the House, or the Republicans controlled the Senate and the Democrats had the House, and they had to hammer out a budget. Right now, if we go into a special session, it's because the Democrats are fighting one another in each chamber against what the governor wants because of just their majority in both chambers. So they're the ones that are going to fight it out most likely. We're doing the best we can to get our word out there and to get the amendments put on these bills to soften them, and which we've been doing a good job. We have killed some bad bills, believe it or not, in Ways and Means that are not going to come out. So we are doing a good job of controlling things, and looking forward to what's going to be in front of us here pretty soon, Matt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for all your hard work. Thank you for everything that you do for Washington State and for us back here in the Tri-Cities and for me in the 16th Legislative District. Really appreciate that. Can't wait for you to get back. I tell all the legislators that, and I'm sure that you guys are getting tired of driving back and forth too every once in a while. So thank you for your participation in this series, and thank you for the hard work that you're doing.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Say hi to everybody. We'll see
All
you.
right, will do. Thank you.
Mhm.